This is about defending democracy. This is no longer Democrats versus Republicans. What do you want your kids to believe in? There must be give and take.
This is White Flag with Joe Walsh.
So this week, the Republican primary for president, the campaign for president, the nomination is going to heat up. Ron DeSantis is going to get in this week. South Carolina Senator Tim Scott will announce this week he's running for president. New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu, former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, talking about getting in this week. The field of Republicans running for president in 2024 could increase dramatically this week. Here's the other thing we know. Trump's up. Trump's way up. He's up over DeSantis now by 40, 50 some points. Nobody else. Christie, Pence could be getting in this week. Christie, Pence, Nikki Haley, Tim Scott when he gets in. None of these other Republican candidates right now are even registering in the polls. Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson, not even registering in the polls. Donald Trump is way, way up. And here's the other thing. All these Republicans this week, in fact, every Republican running for president right now, Nikki Haley, Asa Hutchinson, all the rest, they all believe privately that Donald Trump can't win in 2024. Let me be clear. They all believe that privately. Most Republicans believe that privately. Mitch McConnell, Kevin McCarthy, hell, most Republicans who have endorsed Donald Trump, most of them don't believe Trump can win in 2024. But they're afraid to say that publicly. They all believe it. And think about this. Ron DeSantis is going to announce this week, Wednesday, I believe, that he's running for president. A big part of the case that DeSantis wants to make is, I'm Trump, but I can win. I'm just like Trump. I'm just as mean as Trump. I'm just as much of a bully as Trump. I'm just as much of a jerk. I'm just as much of an asshole as Trump. I'm just as bigoted as Trump. I'm just as intolerant as Trump. I'm just as much of an authoritarian as Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis is going to say. But I can win. Trump can't win. So vote for me, DeSantis will say, because I'm Trump, but I can win. In fact, DeSantis this past week, on a call with big, heavy-hitting donors, Republican donors, told them on a private phone call with his donors that, look, there are only going to be 3 people in this race to be the next president, me, Joe Biden, and Donald Trump. And only 2 of us can win, me or Biden. Trump can't win. Think about that. Ron DeSantis said that last week on a private call to Republican donors. Trump can't win. But yet Ron DeSantis will be too afraid to say that publicly. And think about this. This is the problem DeSantis will have. This is the problem Nikki Haley has. This is the problem Tim Scott will have. Mike Pence. Every Republican aiming to run for president in 2024 has this exact same problem. And I'll address it to DeSantis. How can DeSantis go out there and say, vote for me in 2024 because Trump can't win, when DeSantis is too afraid to say that Trump didn't win in 2020. Think about that. The case that DeSantis wants to make, Trump's a loser. He lost the Senate and the House in 2020. He kept us from winning the Senate in 2022. The big red wave that was because of Trump and all the crazy candidates he endorsed in 2022. He wants to call Trump a big loser, but he can't say that Trump didn't win in 2020. Now, Donald Trump, running for president, will openly say he won in 2020. The election was stolen. The election was rigged. DeSantis can't and won't say the 2020 election was not stolen. How can he beat Trump? This is the bind, this is the trap that all of these Republicans, including DeSantis, are in. They don't want to say that Trump lost legitimately. They cannot say, they don't have the courage to say Joe Biden won. The 2020 election was not stolen. DeSantis cannot say that. He does not have the balls to say that. He does not have the courage to say that because Ron DeSantis knows Republican voters don't believe that. Republican voters believe the 2020 election was stolen. Most Republican voters believe Donald Trump won in 2020. So they have to say that. They have to kind of say Trump won. DeSantis kind of has to say the 2020 election was kind of sort of stolen. If DeSantis doesn't say that, he can't win the nomination. He wants to say that Trump's a big loser. DeSantis does. Look, he lost in 2020 to Joe Biden. Think about that. Ron DeSantis, Tim Scott, Nikki Haley, they all want to say that. Trump is a big loser. Even 80-year-old Joe Biden beat him in 2020. They want to say that. They can't. They're too afraid to say that. They want to say Trump's a big loser, but they cannot say that he lost in 2020. This is the trap. This is the conundrum. This is the box they put themselves in because they went along with the big lie, because they're cowards. I've got no problem saying that. I've got no problem calling Ron DeSantis a coward or Nikki Haley a coward or Tim Scott, who I served with in Congress and I like a lot, a coward, because they all know the truth and they're afraid to say the truth. I'm long past tired of that. They all know Joe Biden won. They all know Trump lost in 2020. But they know that that truth is not what Republican voters want to hear. So they'll lie. They'll hedge. They'll fudge. They'll lie to try to become the Republican Party nominee. Now, I think that's despicable. As someone who 6 years ago took a blowtorch to my career to speak the truth, I have no problem calling Ron DeSantis and all the rest of them cowards. They put themselves in this position. They so enabled Trump. They so went along with Trump. They so were accomplices to Trump that here we are. They own this. They deserve to be in this position. But here's the beautiful thing. They can't beat Trump. Trump will say the election was stolen. DeSantis and all the rest, they have to say the same thing. But if they say the election was stolen from Trump, then why wouldn't Republican voters want to vote for Trump again? If the best Ron DeSantis can do is say that 2020 was kind of sort of rigged and stolen, well, who was it rigged against? Who was the 2020 election stolen from? Donald Trump. So you're running for president, Ron DeSantis, and you're telling Republican voters that the Democrats and whoever stole the election from Donald Trump, so vote for me? Why wouldn't Republicans just vote for the guy who had the election stolen from him in 2020? You see, I think not only is it a cowardly trap that DeSantis and all the rest put themselves in, but they can't win taking this position. They can't win. And it's not just the 2020 election. Trump was indicted a month ago. And what did all of these Republican challengers to Trump say? A witch hunt. They echoed Trump. It's a witch hunt in New York. This New York prosecutor against Donald Trump. All they could do was agree with Donald Trump. Found out a couple of weeks ago, a jury found out that Trump was a sexual abuser. So what did all of these Republican challengers say? A witch hunt. Let it go. 7, 8, 9, 10, 20 years old. This is terrible. Donald Trump's being persecuted. That's all they can say. Trump will be indicted down in Georgia for trying to criminally interfere with an election. And DeSantis and Pence and Nikki Haley and Tim Scott and all the rest, what will they say when Trump is indicted this summer down in Georgia? They can't say Georgia got it right. What Trump did on that phone call was wrong. He was trying to criminally steal an election, interfere with election results in Georgia. That's the truth. DeSantis and the rest can't say the truth because they want to become the Republican Party nominee, and the Republican Party base doesn't believe that truth. And then when Trump is indicted for covering up and hiding and obstructing the search for all those classified documents down at Mar-a-Lago, DeSantis and the rest will say witch hunt because they have to say witch hunt because the base wants to hear witch hunt. And then when Trump is indicted by the Justice Department for what he did to lead to give us January 6th, DeSantis and the rest will have to echo what Donald Trump says if they want to become president. And again, all cowardly acts of cowards, because DeSantis and Nikki Haley and the rest, they know the truth, but they're afraid to say the truth. But one more time, by echoing Trump, by agreeing with Trump, by saying, like Trump, that Trump is being persecuted, that this is just another witch hunt, by saying that, they're telling Republican voters, my God, vote for Trump. Well, then vote for Trump. Vote for Trump. The election was stolen from him. Vote for Trump. The justice, the deep state is after him. Vote for Trump. So not only is it the cowardly thing to do, the beautiful part of it is they can't win doing it, which is why Donald Trump will be the nominee. I'm Joe Walsh. Thank you for listening. This is White Flag with Joe Walsh. Do me a favor, couple favors. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Easy, doesn't cost you a thing. Please go to YouTube, White Flag with Joe Walsh. Just subscribe, doesn't cost you a thing. Listen to this podcast, Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to podcasts. Follow me on Twitter at Walsh Freedom. Tell everybody you know about this podcast. Final thing, join a movement. Join the movement. Join the Starts With Us movement that I joined. Help me fight the extreme division, the extremism in this country that is dividing this country. Help me be part of, help me grow a movement that will help this country find common ground and solutions to the most vexing problems this country faces. Believe what you believe in, but we've got to do something about all this division. Go to startswith.us/white flag and join the movement. That's all. Again, doesn't cost you a thing. Join me and join the Starts With Us movement. Startswith.us/white flag. Join the movement. Have a great week. Going to be a big week politically. God bless and be brave.